from Kendra Davis. And I wanted to read this and I wanted to make my commentary. I started to actually type this out and put in the comment section, but I thought that since she's a pretty thoughtful woman on my women's channel, I thought I would actually read it and then do a response to it. There is a wealth of truth here. I live for the first couple of minutes in this video. Let me deal with the black-white aspect of this. What was said about how we as black women were affected by the blight of chattel slavery is true on every level. The pathology persists, even though we are no longer in physical chains. Black women are nothing as women as far as society as a whole is concerned. We have not lost our base female's desires. That's hardwired. We have lost our feminine compass, and slavery and its aftermath is why. Like the precepts of manhood, femininity is taught in large part. Black women have not been afforded any opportunity as a whole to experience the level of ease and protection it takes to allow it to flourish. In other words, when we have been able to be a soft damsel in distress, whenever we ever been able to be a soft damsel in distress, we have not healed as a people, and we are getting further and further away from the healing. The truth is that black women are unique due to this and cannot be expected to suddenly act as if we were just like every other demographic of women. The truth is that as a collective, we need the protection of black men to finally give us time to find what we lost so we can be the women black men really desire to be with. As for viewing black men as inferior to white men, this is absolutely true. However, even without looking at that through a relationship or gender-based lens, we are a conquered people. I don't think black men are inferior in their reality. And to be honest, most black women don't so much believe it either. We know you're the better man. The frustration comes, at least for me, is that it seems black men are comfortable underneath a system of white supremacy and shouldn't be. There is no such comfort under a system that subjugates the male and subverts the women to be used as a tool of destruction within her own family and community. It appears that many of our men are content to make their money and go about their business as long as they aren't being bothered personally. How do you as a man not want to assert your own dominance in the face of other men? I, along with many women, judge a man's level of masculinity by how he moves around other men, not how he acts around women. It is a system that has removed the black man from his rightful position and made him obsolete, or at least tried to. Many sunken, beplaced black women believe this and act accordingly. They fight with you, call the police on you, run you through the court system, etc., etc. These are the women, coupled with the perverse teaching of feminism that has only corrupted us more and has driven our men away. I guess I'm done. Could be wrong, but this is just my opinion. Okay. Let's deal with this. I knew this was going to touch a raw nerve. And the only reason I posted it in the women's channel is because I wanted to give my female subs a forum to actually voice their opinion kind of openly. And the reason that I posted this, actually did this video, is to point out something that nobody wants to talk about or admit. Because I always look at white womanhood or interracial dating as a black man's problem. It's a black man's shame and a black woman's privilege. And even though everybody knows about it, it's the elephant in the room because everybody can talk about it. Everybody can see it. Even some bloggers that are married to white men talk about it. That it's an act of black woman defiance to actually go with a white man. Because I hear very little people rail against scandal. You know, even conscious black women love scandal, and conscious black women cheer for Serena Williams and cheered for Janet Jackson and all these other black women that dated and married white men. And the brothers were relatively silent. It's like, you know, hey, we may not like it, but it's been going on for 5 or 8 years and there's not a whole lot that we can do about it. And we kind of move on. But the viciousness that you see from black women toward black men that do the exact same thing that you cheer about. And I've had a lot of brothers in my comment section that actually tell me that the reason that they don't date white women or they don't like to date white women is because of the blowback that they get from black women in the community. In fact, if you look at a high profile business people and athletes that are married to white women, very seldom do you see a lot of them actually in the public eye. They're normally shy and retiring and they're in the background. But black women put their white men on Front Street, even before they marry them. Even before they marry them. And the biggest thing is the biggest conundrum that is why does this exist? Now, I had an inkling that this is the problem with, the thing is you can't always put, even though the pieces are in front of your face, sometimes you can't always put them together. And I always knew it wasn't about the black men, even though black men take the brunt of this, of the hatred. But hell, black men take the brunt of hatred in this particular country. But the myth of white womanhood is something that what feminists talk about. Feminists talk about the myth of white womanhood. Even back in the 60s, they talk about the myth of white womanhood, but they always talked about it like it's something that black men desired, that black men and white men thought exactly the same thing about black women. Now, when black women were dating and marrying white men, no black man ever said that about black women. That black women actually thought the same thing that her white husband or boyfriend thought about their men. They never put the myth of white womanhood on the white man. They never blamed it on the white man. They always talk around it. That white women that are protected and need to be looked after it and be missing. And like the mayor says, that's very few women, especially before and after slavery. That's very few women that got to be treated like Miss Ann. Well, we had enough black domestics working in kitchens that brought that myth back. Hell, this bullshit goes all the way back to Sojourner Truth with Ain't I a Woman. This even before slavery even freaking ended. That black woman was demanding from white men and white women the same kind of femininity that elite white women were getting. It's not new. We didn't start it. And black men have always been blamed that we can't give it to you. That black women need to be protected. That black women need to be elevated. That black men don't fight, are comfortable not fighting the system. You know how many slave revolts there were back in slavery to get you out of chains? You know that black men have fought at every single war that the United States has ever had, including the Civil War, where black men volunteered from the North, volunteered to go out there and free their people. There wasn't no black women out there with guns. Black men have continuously fought to free our people, continuously been on the front lines. And I hear, I love you, Kendra, but I hear this shit all the time. Black men are too comfortable in the grips of white supremacy, and women judge men by how they walk around or are around other men. I ain't never seen a Chinese man revolt. I ain't never seen a Mexican man revolt. The only two people that actually fought these motherfuckers were actually black men and Native American men. And where are most of Native American men? They're gone. They killed them off. And it's easy to talk about revolting and rebelling against the freaking world power. It's easy to talk about going up against Rome when your head is not on the chopping block. Black women pull that shit every single time. How come you don't go against the man? There's an old line I heard a long time ago. It's called bacon and eggs. We know who the hens are, right? In bacon and eggs, the chicken is involved, but the pig is committed. What does that mean? It's easy to talk about fighting white supremacy and going up against a world power when your life is not on the line. Because if there's any revolt, they're not coming to look for you, baby. Germany at the time had less than 70 million people. Germany in World War II slaughtered damn near 100 million men. You only have 16 million adult black men. 10%, only 10% of them are even capable of even trying to fight white supremacy. You got 400 million guns in the United States. 95% of them lie in the hands of white people. So you want to send your man, your husband, your sons, your uncles, your father on a suicide mission. For what end? Are black men comfortable? Not particularly, but we're not suicidal either. So Kendra believes that, I know Kendra's heart. I know she believes that black men are the best men because she actually shows it every day. But she's rare. How do I know she's rare? Look at the state of your boys. Damn the men. Look at the state of your boys. Do you treat your boys like they're the best and they need to go out and be better? Black boys are at the bottom of every category amongst all children in the United States. Black boys are at the very bottom. Black men are in prison more than anybody else. Do you see black women carrying signs trying to get their men out of prison? Do you see black women at PTA meetings trying to get a better education for their boys? Do you see black women starting study groups so they can better educate their boys? Do you see black women recruiting black men to come back and teach boys trades and actually paying them a stipend to actually go? Do you see black women organizing trade schools or even code camps for black boys so they can learn how to program or learn how to do something so they can actually lift their people? I can tell you where I do see black women at with their boys. And I can see them out there on the football field. I see them all the time. I can see them out there on the baseball diamond. I see them all the time. I can see them at basketball games. I see them all the time. You know why they're out there? Because hopefully that little boy is their lotto ticket. That this kid would have enough talent and enough practice where he can get up, he can get in one of these leagues, and basically that's her punch her lotto ticket. So she can get up out of the hood or wherever she's at, get her big ass house with a double curved stairway. She's investing in her lotto ticket. But every other kid, for as far as his books, his learning, and just be him a regular human being that actually has a trade so he can raise a family and slowly lift his community, you don't see that. I have never seen black women come together and stop the police from trying to hunt their men down, ever. Now, I see Black Lives Matter protest after somebody's been killed, but I ain't never seen Black Lives Matter out in New York City trying to stop and frisk or start a fund to get innocent black men out of prison. Hell, they send him to jail for child support. They get mad and they take his license. They take his means of taking care of his family. Now, I understand that you're disappointed in your men, that your femininity depends on your men protecting you and elevating you, but y'all don't act like it. Y'all act like we drug you here by force, put you in chains, allowed the plantation master to rape your ass or whatever. And we stood by and did nothing. Last I heard, it's very difficult to do something when you're hanging by a rope from a tree. And when the opportunity came to actually get something for the family and get something for black people, just like Margot Jefferson, she said, what did y'all do? Y'all sided with Miss Ann because Miss Ann said, come on, we can elevate you. And guess what y'all did? Y'all took the bait, still taking the bait. I actually have video of black women still doing this. This goes all the way back to Sojourner Truth, saying, "Ain't I a woman?" Begging white men and white women to give you what you think your version of femininity is. The exact same thing. You're begging the white woman and the white man to give you something, and then you blame the black man for not giving it to you. That's the part that I do not understand. And when it's in your face because I put 2 clips together and it's in your face and you see where this stuff comes from, then you get mad. See what she said. I don't believe it. I don't believe the black community is going to get free or going to change anything. In fact, I really don't think it's going to change anyway until women actually start shedding blood for their own community. Literally shedding blood. You guys should protect us and make us feel safe. I ain't seen one woman come out and snatch her drug dealing kid off the street corner. I ain't seen one woman get mad and tell her drug dealing boyfriend not to deal drugs. But it's always black men that get blamed for this. Black women do not like the mirror. They do not like the mirror at all. They do not like the light shown on them. Every time the light is shown on black women, they turn it back on black men. There's your culprit. Black men have been under the gun for 200 years. But because most black men are not going to worry about what you feel like as far as their maleness and their manhood when is between them and being 6 foot under. Your maleness and your pride and your manhood don't mean very much when a few million of you are going to get buried. They always say, well, you guys are just too comfortable being under oppression. When black men can't be comfortable any place in this United States, and every black man knows it. And every black woman that has never walked in a black man's shoes doesn't realize that shit. You can say it because you can call the police and you can be protected. And the policeman, 9 times out of 10, the policemen aren't going to put a bullet in your head. So you can talk that shit. We can't. A black man can't even look like he's resisting. Black man can't even walk down the fucking street in his own neighborhood and feel safe. If you think being a black man is so easy, you try it. Try it for a day. Try to be held accountable. Black men get held accountable for everything. Stuff they even didn't do, they're held accountable for. You black women divorced a man, had babies out of wedlock, it's always the man's fault. Ain't none black man ever squeezed out any babies. I just pointed out a truth. The thing is, what gets me, black women can't even deny the video that I posted. You can't even deny it. You can't say it's not true. That's the problem with the video. You can't say it's not true because everybody knows it. There's nothing that I even said that wasn't true. What's the first thing they try to do? They always try to point the spotlight back on black men. Like, it's your fault that we do this shit. Why don't you just go ahead and say it? It's black man's fault for slavery. It's black man's fault for his woman being in slavery. It's black man's fault for Jim Crow. I hear a lot of women, you should have died on the goddamn boats. It's easy for you to say. Everybody that says that, I don't see you guys out there trying to go out there and with bonsai and try to commit Harry Carey in front of a policeman. Don't see that. In fact, at Charlottesville, all the stuff that black women did in Charlottesville, all the crazy stuff they did, all the fights they started. The only dude that there was 2 dudes that got prosecuted. One dude got prosecuted for killing a white woman because he ran over, and the other dude got prosecuted because 10 white dudes, KKK members, actually beat his ass. Those are the only 2 people that got prosecuted. I ain't see one black woman that got prosecuted. There were black men that had riot squads and tanks. When you go up against that, when you put your bodies on the line, when they start cracking your heads, then you can come to us about being cowards and being too comfortable in white supremacy. Stop being the fucking chicken. Be the pig. Be committed. If not, don't step to me with that shit. Feel me? With that, that's all I got to say. I'm going to post this on both channels. I am sick and tired of this non-accountability. Stop talking. Be about it. Not just be about it because you're going to make a demonstration and you're going to lay down and then you're going to get out a couple hours later when your bond is posted. Be about it from the ground up. If you don't, fuck us, fuck black men. Start with your black boys. There's no reason that your black boys should be at the goddamn bottom of every fucking category. There's no way that any group of people, any group of women will allow all their, 10% of their goddamn boys to be locked up and a third of them to have records. And then look themselves in the face and actually demand shit. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? I don't mean to cuss on the video pointed towards you, Kendra. I know that you got a good heart. I know that you got a good heart. I know I have female subs that have good hearts. But I'm getting tired of this goddamn rhetoric pointed at black men. Men by themselves cannot pull any group up out of their morass. It takes the whole freaking community. Black women have to get off their ass and pull their goddamn weight. All of them. All of them. You have to pull your goddamn weight, take accountability for what you do every day, or shut the fuck up. Anyway, that's all I got. It's BGS out.